Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching Amélie by Jean-Pierre Jeunet starring Audrey Tautou. I don't believe I've heard of this director before, and I don't think I've watched too many French films to be honest, but I do recognize Audrey Tautou. I think I've seen her in those Dan Brown film adaptations with Tom Hanks. I really loved those films growing up as I read the books. I think I read all the Dan Brown book except Inferno. Anyways, I did rewatch them recently and they are not as good as I remember them to be. I mean, I really enjoyed the music and cinematography, but not much else. The writing, I don't know anymore. I mean, as a teenager, they were great, but as an adult, I can really see the holes in the plot. Anyways, about Amélie, I know it's a romantic comedy of sorts. I've heard quite a bit about it over the years. I know it's considered almost a classic, I'm guessing. I don't know what to expect from this movie plot-wise, but I'm guessing it's very quirky and very personal, very French, for lack of a better word. At least that's how it was described to me. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie, and over 160 movies, TV shows, early access, and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. Amélie, Jeunet, Tautou. Let's go.
Mouche bleue de la famille des Califoridés, capable de produire 14 670 battements d'aile à la minute, se posait rue Saint-Vincent, à Montmartre.
It's a very beautiful opening shot. Very saturated.
Toujours à la même seconde, un spermatozoïde pourvu d'un chromosome X appartenant à Monsieur Raphaël. 9 mois plus tard naissait...
Oh wow, they're actually showing the pregnancy. This is how Amélie was born. Is this an art house film? Yeah, apart from Audrey Tautou, I don't recognize anybody else in the credits. From these scenes, Amélie looks like she grew up alone. She's not being shown playing with other kids or anything.
Le père d'Amélie, ancien médecin militaire, travaille aux établissements thermaux d'Enghien-les-Bains. Aligner toutes ses chaussures et les cirer avec soin. Vider son sac à main, bien le nettoyer et tout ranger, enfin. La fillette, bouleversée par cette intimité exceptionnelle, ne peut empêcher son cœur de battre la chamade. Dès lors, son père la croit victime d'une anomalie cardiaque.
A heart defect.
C'est sa mère qui lui tient lieu de préceptrice.
Oh, and she's homeschooled. I was right, she did grow up lonely.
Amélie n'a de refuge que dans le monde qu'elle invente.
Grew up with her own imagination.
Malheureusement, l'ambiance familiale a rendu le poisson rouge neurasthénique et suicidaire.
Alright, okay, they're letting the goldfish free. I wonder whether this is symbolic of what Amélie is feeling right now. Does she feel like a goldfish, like being trapped in her house? I think so.
Un voisin profite de la naïveté d'Amélie pour lui faire croire que son appareil a un défaut.
What?
Amélie décide de se venger.
Poor guy missed the goal. I'd be pretty pissed off if it's like a World Cup game or something. What the
Amandine Poulain
fudge?
est tuée sur le coup. Après la mort de sa mère,
That's how the mother dies?
les jours, les mois, puis les années passent.
Oh man, she's even more isolated now.
Le monde extérieur paraît si mort qu'Amélie préfère rêver sa vie.
Getting lost in her dreams. What a beautiful time lapse, by the way.
5 ans plus tard,
Great visual storytelling.
pour elle, la vie tranquille suit son cours parmi ses collègues et les habitués du café. Le type qui les observe, l'air mauvais, c'est Joseph. La seule chose que celui-là aime, c'est crever les bulles des emballages en plastique.
Popping bubble wrap.
Souvent, le week-end, Amélie prend le train Gare du Nord pour aller rendre visite à son père.
Bah pour voyager, t'as jamais quitté Enghien.
Je ne pouvais pas. À cause de ton père.
Oui. Puis j'aime bien repérer le petit détail que personne ne verra jamais.
Amélie n'a pas d'homme dans sa vie. Elle a bien essayé une fois ou deux, Mais le résultat n'a pas été à la hauteur de ses espérances. Plonger la main au plus profond d'un sac de grains? Briser la croûte des crèmes brûlées avec la pointe de la petite cuillère?
Well, you have to find beauty in little pleasures in your life if you don't have much. Again, I'm really enjoying the camera work, the cinematography, the visual storytelling. Kind of reminds me a little of Wes Anderson style.
Lui, c'est l'homme de verre. Ça fait 20 ans qu'il évite de sortir de chez lui.
Wow. Whoa, an old box.
Qu'un petit garçon a pris soin d'enfouir il y a une quarantaine d'années.
Wow.
Où qu'il soit, elle va retrouver la piste du propriétaire de la boîte aux souvenirs et lui restituer son trésor. Si ça le touche, c'est décidé. Elle commence à se mêler de la vie des autres.
She has a purpose now to return these memories. And if she gets satisfaction, that's what she plans to devote her life to.
J'en ai connu tellement des gamins. Au début, c'est mignon, mon mari travaille à la coccinelle assurance. Et les gens, ils adorent raconter qu'il couchait avec sa secrétaire.
She's oversharing? Maybe because she's lonely.
Voilà, votre mari est mort. Accident de bagnole. En Amérique du Sud.
Oh, poor lady. Yeah, she's still in love with her dead husband. Doesn't look like she'll get her answer here.
Ah oui, pour votre affaire. Allez voir l'épicier, Collignon. Il a toujours habité l'immeuble.
Oh, okay, at least she's pointing her to the right direction.
Vous n'auriez pas une idée de leur nom?
Non mais regardez-le. On a l'impression qu'il est en train de recueillir un oiseau tombé du Nil. Ah, encore une chance que vous n'ayez pas demandé direct.
He's a bit of a bully.
Bredotto. Ça y est, j'y suis. Bredotto, 5e droite.
He was right. A lot of shades of orange and green are being used, and even some red.
Ce garçon qui farfouille sous le photomaton s'appelle Nino Quincampoix.
Oh, poor kid.
L'un rêvait d'une sœur et l'autre d'un frère, avec qui ils passeraient tout leur temps.
They unwittingly know each other.
Comme ta mère le supportait pas, il était rangé dans la cabane à outils.
Et voilà. Pas mal, hein? Midi 15, rire de gorge évoquant l'orgasme. Motif plaire au mâle dominant.
Well, there are quite a few same names.
Il s'appelle comment?
Dominique Bredotto.
Bonjour.
I love the use of sound.
Bonjour mon chaton.
Again, big fan of these transition scenes. The filmmaker is not being lazy at all. It's very creative.
Bretotto. Pas Bredotto.
J'aime beaucoup ce tableau.
C'est le déjeuner des canotiers. De Renoir.
Oh, Renoir. He's a famous French painter.
Eh bien, après toutes ces années, le seul personnage que j'ai encore du mal à cerner, c'est la fille au verre d'eau.
C'est tellement différente des autres.
Hein? Et en quoi? Quand elle était petite, elle ne devait pas jouer souvent avec les autres enfants.
Well, like, that's something Amélie can definitely relate to. I don't know, I was a big fan of cell phones when they first came out, but I don't know how to feel about them nowadays. She gives it to him anonymously. Oh.
En une seconde, tout revient à la mémoire de Bretotto. La victoire de Federico Bahamontes dans le Tour de France 59. Cette journée tragique où il gagna toutes les billes de la classe à la récré.
Playing with marbles. That was a thing.
C'est incroyable ce qui vient de m'arriver. Ça doit être mon ange gardien, c'est pas possible autrement. C'est comme si la cabine m'appelait, elle sonnait, elle sonnait, elle sonnait. C'est drôle la vie. Vous n'avez pas encore d'enfant, mademoiselle? Moi j'ai une fille, elle doit avoir à peu près votre âge. Ça fait des années qu'on ne s'est pas parlé. Il paraît qu'elle a eu un enfant, un garçon. Je crois qu'il serait temps que j'aille leur rendre visite avant de finir à mon tour dans une petite boîte.
Wow. It gave him the courage to reconnect with his family.
Amélie a soudain le sentiment étrange d'être en harmonie
Absolute
totale avec
harmony.
elle-même.
Venez, je vais vous aider. On descend et hop, c'est parti.
And she's doing exactly that, helping random people.
Tiens, l'enseigne de la boucherie Chevaline a perdu une oreille. Ce rire, c'est celui du mari de la fleuriste. Il a des petites rides de malice au coin des yeux.
She's describing everything around him. Oh.
Juste à l'entrée du métro. Et moi, je vous laisse ici. Au revoir.
I wonder what that meant visually, the light. Yeah, the color red is very important to the story. Amelie's almost always wearing something red. Oh. She's taking his prized gnome. And it's that man we saw earlier. That certainly was an odd sequence.
Des pages entières de photos d'identité ratées que leurs propriétaires déçus ont froissées, déchirées, rejetées.
He collects pictures that were left behind.
Mais clair, ce type de recoulement, c'est prénuptial ou post-coïtal?
Et ta connerie, elle est congénitale?
It's so creepy. I can't get over it.
Vous prenez deux habitués. Vous leur faites croire qu'ils se plaisent. Vous les mijoter. Ça marche à tous les coups.
S'il vous plaît.
Does Amelie have a new plan to set these two up?
Mais ouvrez les yeux. Elle est là à espérer une miette d'intérêt de votre part et vous n'en avez que pour Gina. La pauvre. Quand on voit à quoi elle en est réduite pour essayer d'attirer votre attention. Il faut vraiment que vous soyez aveugle.
Let's see if it works.
Ah, mon vieux, je sais pas comment sera le nouveau, mais en tout cas, ça sera jamais aussi pire que l'autre timbré, là, avec son magnétophone.
Il souffre, c'est tout. Ne me dites pas que vous êtes rendu compte de rien. Qu'est-ce que vous voyez là? Ben, mon tabac. Et il manque rien? Ben non.
You, lady.
Bon, ben je vous laisse réfléchir. Bonne nuit, Charlotte.
It's nice how she isn't like spelling it out for them, just pointing in the right direction. If it works, it works.
Regardez, il est encore là.
Oh, mais oui, c'est étrange, hein.
Looks like she's slowly becoming friends with the brittle-boned painter.
Ici encore. 5 mars Austerlitz. Vous savez, la fille au verre d'eau?
Oui.
Si elle a l'air un peu à côté, c'est peut-être parce qu'elle est en train de penser à quelqu'un, plutôt à un garçon qu'elle a croisé ailleurs. Mais elle a l'impression qu'ils sont un peu pareils, elle et lui.
She's mirroring her own life.
Même qu'au contraire, elle se met en quatre pour arranger les cafouillages de la vie des autres.
She imagines herself as the girl with the glass of water.
Monsieur Collignon, vous avez oublié vos clés.
Oh, une minute, la Mélie-Mélo, hein. Fait pas bon se presser ces temps-ci. Tenez, vous avez qu'à prendre exemple sur Lucien. Mais quand il bosse, il risque pas d'être flashé par le radar.
Stop bullying the kid, dude.
Le catalogue des 3 Suisses ouvert au chapitre des nuisettes. Il avait découpé la photo d'Épineux pour y mettre celle de la princesse à la place.
Huh. She made a copy of that key for some reason. He keeps looking at her. What is Amélie up to? Foot cream. I love how petty her revenge is. Oh, what is that? Is that salt? She imagines herself as Zorro.
Au fait, j'ai vu que ton nain de jardin était plus là.
That's something he cares about.
Il est retourné dans la cabane à outils.
Et voilà. Rien, pas d'explication.
J'avais peut-être tout simplement envie de voir du pays.
He probably woke up at the wrong time. He's probably questioning his life, like, was it always like this? Oh man, he's gonna brush his teeth with foot cream. I wonder whether he figures it out. 4 a.m. Oh, that'll certainly freak me out.
Vous me désirez? Vous désirez?
Un tac au tac, s'il vous plaît.
It's working.
Bah, rien. Et vous?
Non, rien non plus.
Ben, je préfère ça.
He's such a sweet young man. when he's not being bullied.
J'ai un petit quelque chose là. Est-ce que vous êtes belle, Georgette, quand vous rougissez?
That wasn't on purpose at all, was it? Good for you, Amélie.
Bonjour, je peux vous aider?
Et Nino, il est là?
Non, jamais le mercredi, il travaille à la foire du trône.
Pour sa petite amie, ça doit pas être facile tous les jours.
Already asking about girlfriends.
Rendez-vous demain 17h, manège de Montmartre, près de la cabine. Munissez-vous d'une pièce de 5 francs.
So she didn't return the album.
Et tu voudrais en savoir plus, hein?
Very unique visual storytelling.
Elle est amoureuse.
Je la connais même pas.
Monsieur, tu la connais.
Allô?
Suivez les flèches bleues, monsieur Cacampois.
Hein? Allô?
Je sais qui est la connue des photomatons, monsieur Cacampois. C'est un fantôme. Nul ne peut le voir, monsieur Cacampois.
I was thinking what Amélie gets out of this. I get it. She gets entertainment. She gets happiness. She gets satisfaction. Do you want to meet me? She just broke the fourth wall by looking at us directly. Wow. The gnome is now in America for some weird reason, and I'd be justifiably freaked out too. She seems noticeably happier. So does he.
Mais elle est comment? Elle est grande, elle est petite, elle est blonde, elle est brune, elle est comment?
Par contre, je me souviens qu'elle a cherché à savoir comme ça, l'air de rien, si t'avais une petite amie.
She did.
Eh?
J'ai répondu que ça t'intéressait pas du tout, j'ai bien fait là.
Ah oui, depuis 15 jours que je le vois repartir tous les soirs avec des tonnes d'invendus, je commençais à me demander s'il avait pas gagné un cochon à la foire au jambon. Pas du tout.
Ah, he's back at it. He deserves it. Amazing cinematography, camera work, the sets, the colors, and the music. They all work together. They're all working together so well. We know that he wears a size 42, so I'm guessing just to annoy him, she got him shoes a size smaller. I think she's slowly breaking him down mentally. He's calling his mom.
Urgence psychiatrique, j'écoute.
It was Amélie who changed the number and he's shaking. What a subtle way to mess with somebody's mind. It's brilliant stuff. Yeah, it's the bald man who doesn't want to be forgotten.
Madame Wallace, suite à la découverte récente d'un sac postal égaré lors de la disparition d'un avion de liaison le 12 octobre 1969 dans le massif du Mont Blanc, la Poste a le plaisir de vous faire parvenir la lettre ci-jointe qui vous était destinée.
Mado, chérie,
Oh,
je suis
man.
en exil. Je ne dors plus, je ne mange
The
plus.
letters from the husband that ran away.
J'ai renoncé à l'argent et à cette femme. Si tout se passe comme prévu, dans peu de temps, je gagnerai suffisamment bien ma vie pour acheter une maison.
It's beautiful how Amelie is just helping everybody around her, making their lives just a little better. Wow, it's his version of the painting. I think these short clips are reminding him that life is worth living. Another picture of the gnome somewhere else in the world.
Ça a donné quelque chose? Je suis en cours. En tout cas, je prépare recommencer quand tu veux. De toute façon, le mal est fait.
Oh, so her friend is a flight attendant because that's the uniform she was wearing, and that's how she got the gnome to all these different places. The 2 windmills at 4 p.m.
Pour Amélie, il n'y a que 2 explications possibles. Premièrement, il n'a pas trouvé la photo. Deuxièmement, il n'a pas eu le temps d'achever la reconstitution parce que 3 truands multirécidivistes qui venaient de braquer une banque l'ont pris en otage. Poursuivis par tous les flics du département, ils ont réussi à les semer.
That's quite an elaborate imagination. They still haven't officially met.
Excusez-moi. C'est vous?
Dude, no, don't deny it. You made him solve this elaborate puzzle. Yeah, I guess she's so introverted that she's just shy. Great visualization of what she's feeling.
Alors, c'est l'autre, là. Elle est amoureuse de lui.
Oh, she admits it. She admits that she's in love with him.
Je vous appelle pour vous signaler qu'un de vos appareils est en panne.
It's that man again.
Un étranger terminé.
Ah, it all makes sense. It wasn't a ghost. He was the technician. That's why he was never smiling or anything. He was at work. He got his answer. No, dude, he's gone. Well, that's a disappointment.
C'est vous qui m'avez glissé ça dans la poche.
Ah oui, mais c'est pas moi pour chercher.
Je sais que c'est pas vous. Vous savez où je peux la trouver.
And the gnome is back.
C'est comme Gina. C'est ce qu'elle est en train de faire, Gina. Hein? Elle est partie retrouver le type avec le sac en plastique. Tu crois que j'ai pas vu la manœuvre? Attends.
Ce qui m'inquiète un peu pour Amélie, c'est que je vous trouve sympathique.
Please tell me this film will have a somewhat happy ending. She deserves some semblance of happiness in her life. Oh, music here is just sublime, honestly. It's him.
Amélie?
I'll be back.
Voilà, vous n'avez pas des os en verre. Vous pouvez vous cogner à la vie.
Take this opportunity and you won't become old and bitter like me. And this is so stereotypical of romantic comedies. Go get him. But this time, it's the girl, not the dude. They switched it around and he's here! The use of absolute silence. It makes the scene even more intimate. Lucian, my friend, what are you doing? What a brilliant performance by Audrey Tautou.
À l'aéroport international.
Even the father is inspired to travel after seeing that gnome visit all those places. They're both very quirky people, and I'm glad they found each other. Such a beautiful film, visually, through the audio work, the production design, even how the film itself is structured, and not your typical romantic comedy where, you know, they fall in love first and then they break up and then something big brings them back together. It's none of that. Thank you so much for the recommendation, guys. This was definitely an experience. Okay. I took a little time to collect my thoughts. First off, that was such a beautiful and intimate character study disguised as a romantic comedy almost. I really enjoyed the film. I really did. I'll definitely be looking up other films by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I would consider the strengths of this movie to be Audrey Tautou's performance as Amelie, the gorgeous cinematography, the visual storytelling, the sound design and score, and the screenplay itself, particularly the structure of the story. Whereas the only weakness I can think of from the top of my head is probably the introduction of so many different characters in the first 15 minutes of the movie. I did have a little hard time in remembering everyone at first, but the filmmakers did a great job in fleshing out all these characters over time. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad by any means, but you have to give art house films like this a little leeway. Anyways, let's start with the directing by Jean-Pierre Jeunet and the screenplay by him and Gilles Laurent. Please correct me if my pronunciation is wrong. The film starts off by introducing the character of Amélie from her birth. We see her grow up. The unique style it was done, that was very eye-catching, and not only did it provide us with a lot of exposition, it was a very creative way to set the tone of the movie. The story itself, although it was simple, it was structured brilliantly. In typical romantic comedies, the couple are introduced and fall in love in the first act. The second act brings in some sort of conflict, which gets resolved by the third act. This film was none of that. It was more concentrated on the story of Amelie as a person and how she improves the lives of people around her. She helps her father get over the death of her mother and encourages him to travel. She brings lost letters from her dead husband to Madeleine. She helps Lucien, the grocer's assistant, by bringing him out of his shell, and makes the painter, the glass man, realize that life is worth living. Even if you're stuck in that small apartment, your bones being brittle and all. In helping so many people, all that comes around to help herself find love. Good stuff. This movie was truly about Amelie and her personal growth. It goes to show that little acts of kindness, they can go a long way in making the lives of others better. Even her own love story unfolds rather slowly. At first, I was a little apprehensive about this approach, but it was shown in such a way that I could relate to it on some level. The movie felt extremely intimate and almost whimsical at times. The director used color to great effect here. Amelie was primarily represented by the color red, which represents love or emotion, whereas I think the color green represented quite a few things in the movie. Primarily, I think it was more obstacles in her way, like when she was about to meet Nino in that train station. She was almost blocked by a green baggage thing, or what you call it. Anyways, I think green represented many other things. That one of her co-workers she was always wearing green. So I'm not sure what that meant. I don't know. I was paying a lot of attention to the subtitle, so I guess I missed out on quite a few of the thematic moments of the movie. Anyways, my rewatch will mostly focus on the visuals and the sounds of the movie. Please let me know what other things green represented in this film. Audrey Tautou's performance as Amelie was a huge highlight of the film for me. Her subtle expressions to her physical acting, the way she portrayed an introverted dreamer really resonated with me, and I'm a dude. That goes to show the appeal of the movie. It's almost universal. The other performances, they were great too, but I think that comes down to the excellent writing here. The characters were slowly fleshed out, and the writer made them believable as real people, if that makes any sense. I also loved how the movie ended. It had that stereotypical go get 'em moment, but it was flipped around this time. Instead of the guy going for the girl, it was the girl going for the guy, which I very much enjoyed. This alone made this movie different from other rom-coms. If you have any other films like this, intimate and quirky, do let me know in the comments. The cinematography of the movie was absolutely top tier. It was one of the best looking films I've seen in a long time. The use of color was deliberate, and I love the oversaturated, almost dreamlike look of the movie. The creative camera angles to the details and shot compositions really made this movie have a unique look that it made it look almost timeless. It made stuff pop out. I can't really put it into words. The editing was excellent too, especially those carefully thought out transitions. It reminded me a lot of Edgar Wright films. To the almost smooth flowing camera work. I don't think this film felt choppy or blocky at any point, if that makes any sense. It all came beautifully together. The sound design and music, they were also on point. Since I was focusing so much on the subtitles, I don't think I appreciated the sounds of the movie as much as I'd liked. But from what I heard from my first viewing, it was again very appropriate for the themes that the director was going for. The sound design, that stood out. As we, the audience, we were almost transported to Paris with Amelie. The choice of using so much music throughout the runtime and then absolute silence when Amelie and Nino finally get together was genius. It made the scene way better than it would have if any music was used. I really loved that. Overall, Amelie was an experience. It was unique, quirky, whimsical, and intimate. It was a wonderful look into this character. We see her grow as a person, and we see her help others to a point where they help her find love, find meaning in life. Everything from a production point top tier, and Audrey Tautou's performance as the titular character was award-worthy. This was an art house film through and through. It was a romantic comedy second, and it deserves rewatches to capture all aspects of the story. Thank you so much for the recommendation, guys. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you liked this video. Dislike it if you didn't. With all that being I'll see you in the next one, guys.